The reign of Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus remains one of the most infamous in Roman history. Rising to power as a young ruler, Nero's leadership was marked by extravagance, artistic ambition, political intrigue, and ultimately destruction. Among the defining events of his rule, none is as shrouded in mystery and speculation as the Great Fire of Rome in 64 CE. The question that lingers through the centuries is whether Nero himself was responsible for the inferno that consumed much of the city, or whether he was simply a ruler caught in the chaos of a disaster he could not control. Nero was born on December 15th, 37 CE, as Lucius Domitius Ahenobarbus, the son of Gnaeus Domitius Ahenobarbus and Agrippina the Younger, the ambitious sister of Emperor Caligula. His lineage was deeply tied to the ruling Julio-Claudian dynasty, and his mother ensured that he remained close to power. Following the assassination of Caligula in 41 CE, the throne passed to his uncle Claudius, who soon married Agrippina. She maneuvered her son into a position of great influence, ultimately persuading Claudius to adopt him, changing his name to Nero Claudius Caesar Drusus Germanicus. Claudius' sudden death in 54 CE, widely suspected to have been orchestrated by Agrippina through poisoning, left the empire in the hands of the 16-year-old Nero. His ascension was managed by powerful advisors, including the philosopher Seneca and the Praetorian prefect Burrus, who sought to guide the young emperor. Initially, Nero's reign showed promise. His government focused on fair taxation, assistance for the poor, and public spectacles that endeared him to the masses. But as the years progressed, Nero's true nature emerged, and his appetite for power, luxury, and vengeance took hold. Nero's early rule was largely shaped by his relationship with his mother. Agrippina had played a crucial role in his rise and expected to retain influence. However, Nero quickly grew resentful of her overbearing presence. In 59 CE, he orchestrated her murder under the pretense that she was plotting against him. After multiple failed attempts to poison her, he arranged for a collapsible boat to drown her. When she survived and swam to shore, soldiers were sent to finish the job. Her death marked a turning point in Nero's rule. Without Agrippina's check on his authority, he embraced his darker impulses. From that point forward, Nero descended into paranoia, executing potential rivals, including his wife Octavia. He surrounded himself with sycophants and indulged in lavish spectacles, grand building projects, and artistic performances. His obsession with performing as an actor, musician, and poet scandalized the Roman elite, who viewed such pursuits as beneath the dignity of an emperor. By the summer of 64 CE, discontent with Nero's rule was growing. Then, on the night of July 18th, a fire broke out in the shops surrounding the Circus Maximus. What started as a small blaze quickly turned into an uncontrollable inferno, raging through the city's tightly packed streets. For 6 days, the fire spread, consuming wooden tenements, temples, and public buildings. Just when it seemed to have been extinguished, the flames reignited and burned for another 3 days. By the time it was finally brought under control, 10 of Rome's 14 districts lay in ruins. Survivors of the fire recounted horrifying tales of panic, destruction, and loss. Families were torn apart, homes reduced to ashes, and the once great capital of the empire was left in ruins. Ancient historians, including Tacitus and Suetonius, described the chaos with vivid detail, depicting a city overwhelmed by smoke, screams, and the glow of an unrelenting blaze. The question that has haunted historians for centuries is whether Nero himself was responsible for the fire. According to Tacitus, Nero was at his villa in Andium when the blaze broke out, but he quickly returned to Rome to organize relief efforts. He opened his private gardens to the homeless and arranged for food supplies to be distributed to the victims. However, rumors began to spread that Nero had ordered the fire deliberately, either to clear space for his grand architectural plans or out of sheer malice. The most enduring legend claims that Nero watched from his palace as Rome burned, playing his lyre and singing about the destruction of Troy. While this is likely a fabrication, Tacitus himself expressed doubt about the accuracy of such claims. The image of an emperor serenading a burning city cemented Nero's reputation as a tyrant. Historians continue to debate whether the fire was an accident or an act of arson. Fires were common in Rome due to its narrow streets and wooden structures. However, some accounts suggest that men were seen deliberately spreading the flames, possibly under Nero's orders. The fact that he later used the cleared land to build his extravagant Domus Aurea, Golden House, only fueled suspicions. With public anger mounting, Nero needed a scapegoat. He found one in the emerging sect of Christians, a group already viewed with suspicion and disdain by Roman society. Their monotheistic beliefs and refusal to participate in traditional Roman religious practices made them outsiders. Capitalizing on existing prejudice, Nero blamed the fire on the Christians and ordered a brutal crackdown. The persecution of Christians under Nero was among the earliest and most horrific in Roman history. Many were arrested, tortured, and executed in gruesome ways. Some were crucified, others were torn apart by wild animals in the arenas, and some were burned alive, serving as human torches to illuminate Nero's gardens at night. This persecution not only cemented Nero's infamy, but also played a crucial role in shaping early Christian narratives of martyrdom. Figures such as Peter and Paul are believed to have been executed during this period, further solidifying Nero's legacy as a villain in Christian tradition. Despite his efforts to shift blame, Nero's popularity continued to decline. The fire had devastated the city, and his extravagant rebuilding projects, including the Domus Aurea, drained the treasury. The political elite, already disillusioned by his erratic behavior, began plotting against him. In 68 CE, a rebellion led by the governor of Gaul, Gaius Julius Vindex, sparked a chain reaction of uprisings. The Senate, once loyal to Nero, turned against him. As the rebellion spread, his support crumbled. Facing inevitable capture and execution, Nero fled Rome. On June 9, 68 CE, he took his own life, reportedly uttering the famous last words, "Qualis artifex perio, what an artist dies in me." With his death, the Julio-Claudian dynasty came to an end, plunging Rome into the chaotic year of the four emperors. The Great Fire of Rome remains one of the most debated events in history. While the evidence linking Nero to the disaster is inconclusive, his actions in its aftermath only deepen suspicions. Whether he was a calculating arsonist or merely an opportunistic ruler who took advantage of a catastrophe, the fire marked the beginning of his downfall. Nero's legacy is one of excess, cruelty, and artistic obsession. While some sources portray him as a misunderstood patron of the arts, the overwhelming historical consensus paints him as a tyrant whose rule ended in disgrace. The fire that engulfed Rome may or may not have been his doing, but its flames consumed not only the city, but also the emperor himself, sealing his place as one of history's most notorious rulers.